Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Okay, so this is the third round draw for the 34th edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard Game, and it's a game with very high rates of elimination so far. We're in the third round, but we're already down to just five people. Um, I think we started with 43 after the first round got knocked down to 16, I dare say, and then second round went down from 16 to just the five remaining lucky bastards. So let's just quickly remind ourselves the five left in it for this round. They are Boom Shakalaka, Cool Hand Puke, Dr. Maxis 2, El Guapo, and KK Kombu. So they are the five left in it. Should be a shorter video than most third rounds. And for this round, we have UFC 325, Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez 2. The rematch, which, to be honest, I don't think many fans were really asking for, to be honest. Partly because Volkanovski's last fight was that match against Diego Lopez. It only happened about 9 months ago, so it's not ancient history. Diego Lopez, in the meantime, he's had one fight since. That was the knockout win against Gene Silva back in December, spinning back elbow and all that fancy stuff. So he had a good knockout win then. But to be honest, I don't think that one fight is going to be enough to have really changed anything. To be honest, I still think this plays out in a very similar fashion to how it did 9 months ago. That, of course, then Volkanovski won a clear unanimous decision to regain the then vacant anyway, featherweight belt. And of course, he's now defending it for the first time for him again. Well, not the first time, I mean, first time in the second reign anyway. He was held it for before for ages, but yeah, I just don't see what has really changed from the first matchup, to be honest. Besides one more win on Lopez's records against Gene Silva, which is a good win, but that's not the sort of win that gives you the sort of yeah, it doesn't really give you the sort of experience to really readjust against somebody as experienced as Volkanovski. And of course, Volkanovski's going to come into this knowing what went well, what didn't go so well in the last fight, and improve on that himself. Of course, he's had 9 months to work on it. So yeah, I'm just going with Volkanovski again for another unanimous decision here. But of course, you're not here to listen to my rambles, although of course that is a hazard of watching these videos. We're here to see who's going to get drawn with who for the 34th round uh, the third uh, the third round of the 34th edition, rather. Anyway, first up, Boom Shakalaka. Make sure it's just all on the same page as the wheel here. There we go. Right, Boom Shakalaka up first. And he gets Junior Tougher. Junior Tougher there for Boom Shakalaka. That is not ideal. Uh, Junior Tougher is up against Billy Elikana. And I've got Billy Elikana to win by first round submission. Although, to be honest, I was kind of flipping back and forth between first round submission or first round knockout because I think that Billy Elikana wins this how and when he wants to. Um, Junior Tougher, well, he's all of his wins have come by knockout, so he's a pure knockout artist. Um, but again, he's not got the best record exactly as he's 6-4 in his MMA career, but the most telling thing is since being in the UFC, he is 2-4. So um, losing UFC record there, and Billy Elikana 9-2 in his MMA career, so a little bit. a similar amount of experience, actually, to be fair, but it's a much better MMA record on paper. 2-1 in the UFC again, not exactly set the UFC on fire, but so far, but it's a lot better than the 2-4 record of Tougher, and it's not even that; it's that Tougher's looked quite bad in those losses as well. Um, Elikana, again, very well rounded, can go the distance if need be. He's also had before the UFC, also got previous experience in the LFA and the PFL. Um, yeah, this is a very bad matchup. There's no way of sugarcoating it really. I think the only thing I can say in Boom Shakalaka's favour here, or Junior Tougher's favour, is that he'll have the home crowd behind him being the Aussie, but I don't think that's going to be close to enough. I think Elikana ends this one early. So yeah, I think Boom Shakalaka is going to need a lot of luck to get through with this one. Okay, Cool Hand Puke is up next. Let's see who Cool Hand Puke gets drawn with. And he gets Cam Roaston. Cam Roaston for Cool Hand Puke. And a slightly better matchup this one because I've got Cam Roaston to win by a second round submission against Cody Brundage. Um, this is one of those sort of my heart versus my brain picks. My heart is saying Cody Brundage. He's a very entertaining fighter. I always enjoy watching him, so I'm hoping Cody Brundage wins this fight, but truthfully, I think Cam Roaston will. He's currently on a five-fight win streak. Only one of them was in the UFC, but still, is still an exciting prospect. Most of his fights have been ended. He's ended them early, either by a knockout or submission. Uh, so he's it still needs to be tested, and I think that Cody Brundage is going to provide an interesting test because Brundage is the sort of fighter that Roaston needs to be fighting right now. He needs to be fighting someone who's been in there several times and isn't necessarily the toughest matchup, but is it is a very again a very entertaining fighter. Someone's going to ask him a lot of questions as well, because whether or not he wins or loses, Brundage always most of his fights always finish inside the distance. So I've no doubt Brundage is going to be piling on the pressure on Roaston early, and it'd be interesting to see if Cam Roaston can hold up against that. But in my opinion, I think Roaston is good enough. He should be able to handle Cody Brundage, and even if it does go into an all-out brawl early on, I still think that Roaston would get the better of that. If he's smart, he'll try and take it to the ground though, and that's why I've started with the second round submission because he's shown before that he can is just as comfortable on the mat as he is at striking. Um, Obviously, Brundage will try and keep this standing up. That's his best route to victory in this fight, and so I think Roaston needs just get through that first round, just weather the storm that Brundage will throw at him, and then in the second round, once or if Brundage just takes the pressure off a little, try and find a way to the mat and try and finish it there. But to be honest, I think Roaston probably could finish it standing if he wants to anyway. So I think that's a good pick there. I think Cool Hand Puke is should be very lucky and could getting through to a hypothetical fourth round. One thing I will mention as well, I'll mention it again at the end. Of course, if only one person makes it through this round, they'll be the winner. Or of course, if none of you make it through, the wheel wins. But now that we're getting towards the end stage of the competition, I still think at least two of you should get through on average. But um, I think Cool Hand Puke will, that's for sure. Anyway, we'll worry about that if it comes to it. But Anyway, Dr. Maxis 2 is next to learn his fate, see who will be fighting down under for him. And there we go. That's our first head-to-head right there. Cody Brundage. Um, as I was saying, I hope Cody Brundage wins this against Cam Roston because he's a very entertaining fighter. I've enjoyed watching him in the UFC, and never a dull fight with him. But if he is going to win, as I said, he's got to try and keep it standing. I think that put the pressure on early and hope that Roston isn't quite ready for that kind of pressure from a slightly more experienced fighter. And some fighters do fold under that kind of pressure. I don't think Roston will, but it's possible. We have seen it happen before. Um, and so I think that's really going to be Rondich's best route for victory. But as I've said, I'm expecting Cam Roston to win this. And I don't know how big an underdog Rundage is for this one, but he should be a fairly uh, moderate underdog, I'd say, for this one. But but yeah, in terms of the game, that gives us a head-to-head right there. Cool Hand Puke versus Dr. Max's 2. Cool Hand Puke with Cam Roston, Dr. Max's 2, Cody Brundage. Uh, and with only two other people to be drawn, that's probably going to be our Lucky Bastard Game main event for this week. So yeah, not much else I can say about that. Again, hope Brundage wins, but I think being sensible, I think Roston will take the win in front of his home crowd there. Okay, El Guapo is next. Let's see who he's going to be paired with. Let's see who El Guapo gets matched with. And El Guapo gets Keiichiro Nakamura. Keiichiro Nakamura for El Guapo. Apologies to him for no doubt butchering his name there. Um, Nakamura, that is. Keiichiro Nakamura. Just try and spell it right on the Excel sheet as well if I can. And again, a very interesting fight here because this is far down on the prelims. It's one of the Road to UFC tournament fights we've got. One of the championships, and Nakamura, of course, facing Sebastian Zalazy. Again, I apologize to Sebastian for butchering his name as well there. Uh, but I have gone with Sebastian for a decision win here, although this did look like an extremely close fight on paper. And I think that Nakamura was the favourite as well. Um, again, this is real proving ground for both these fighters. Sebastian Salazy's 10-1 in his MMA career. Nakamura 7-1 in his career, and it's yeah, like I say, they're both going to be really fighting for their spot in the UFC because this is it's on the UFC card, but I think technically it still counts as a road to UFC fight. But in any case, from what we have seen of them so far, Sebastian mostly goes the distance and fairly solid fundamentals. Nothing too flashy about him really, but again, he seems to be doing everything right. He's on a good path to the uh to his MMA career. So got off to a great start there, and looking to crack the UFC's some point soon. And to be fair, Nakamura same similar situation, 7-1 in his career. Um, Completely different style though. Nakamura is much more of a knockout artist. Usually end in the first round. So this is it's sort of a matchup of someone that prefers to um play a slightly more cautious fight and just control the fight and just see it out to the end and get the win on points, but in a very controlled and calculated manner. Whereas Nakamura seems to be a much more of a crash bang wallop kind of fighter. I'm not saying there isn't method to the madness. I'm sure that there is, but that I don't like fighters that tend to rely on that style. Simply because it can backfire. It's they can put themselves at risk of gassing out early. They can get caught themselves coming in. It's quite a dangerous game plan. So I'm always going to favour someone like Sebastian who goes the distance and, or if not goes the distance, at least manages to fight a bit more. Doesn't always look to end it early. Because it also shows confidence, I'd say, as well. They're saying like, right, I'm comfortable staying in the cage for longer. If I need to be in here for 10 or 15 minutes, that's fine. I feel that I'm in the cage for this amount of time and I'm not going to get hurt. I can afford to use my time. Uh, but anyway, again, I think Nakamura's the favourite for this. But my money's on Sebastian. I've liked what I've seen of him. Admittedly, it hasn't been an awful lot because it's still I say the road to the UFC still very much a proving ground, and it's not a loss of footage easily available of either of them. But from what we've seen of their road to UFC fights, both have looked good in their own styles, and it's going to be a close one. So I think El Guapo's he's kind of got a 50-50-ish chance here. I think the bookies have it slightly better than 50-50. I hope for his sake they're right and I'm wrong. After all, they should know better. Their money's on the line. I'm nothing's at stake here. This is just my opinion. Bookies obviously have to make a living off this, so they should. So if they're saying that Nakamura should win, then I trust their judgment on that. But anyway, I think I think this is going to be a close fight, and not certain for El Guapo to go through. Certainly not out, but he's yeah, like I say, it's a 50-50 one. This is going to be um, it's going to be a very interesting one to see. It's edgy of seat stuff. I think the longer it goes on, I think the more you might be starting to think, oh shit, I'm not going to get through here. Um, because he'll want Camara to just go in there and blast Sebastian out early. But anyway, that's best of luck for that pick. Very intriguing fight, if nothing else. And now we move on to our last player, KK Kombu. Let's see who KK Kombu is going to be drawn with. And he gets Yizha. Yizha there for KK Kombu. This is the first fight of the non Road to UFC ones. He's up against Khan Offley, uh, who he got his first win in his last fight, or first win in his UFC, I should add, in his last fight, because he was 0-2 in the UFC, looking on the verge of getting cut, and then he turned it around with a very impressive rear naked choke of Ricardo Ramos. Um, that did surprise me. I remember that. I was thinking, like, I thought Ricardo Ramos had that one in the bag, but before the fight, but fair play to Khan Offley. He went out there, um, really took control of the fight and got the finish. But up against Yizha, slightly slightly more challenging opponent, I would say. I wouldn't say an awful lot in it. They're definitely more experienced. Yizha's got 26 wins and 5 losses in his career, um, but only 1-2 in the UFC. So a lot of them have been on the sort of Chinese regional scene, which some of his opponents, I'm guessing, aren't quite of the best caliber. So he's got experience, plenty of cage experience, and that I think alone should be enough to try and see him through. And I think if he was up against someone a bit more with a bit more high level experience than Khan Offley, then he'd be in trouble. But I think given that they've both got a similar amount of experience in the UFC, um, both the same UFC records actually, with one win, two losses, and I think that our experience should just see him through here. Yes, so he generally looks for submissions for his sort of style of fighting. Um, Again, that'd be an interesting one given what Khan Offley showed us in his last fight. So this could be an intriguing battle on the mat. So it'd be interesting to see if it turns out that way, or if again I'm just chatting complete shit. But yeah, like I say, Yisa is got a lot of regional experience and former WLF Wars champ. I'm not familiar with that promotion, so again can't really speak for the quality of it, but it's a title. It's you still have to be halfway decent to be a regional champion. Uh, so I think that's the level that Yisa's at. To be honest, it's the um again maybe not quite UFC level or just very lower level UFC at best, but against someone at a similar sort of level to him as Khan Offley, I think that's going to be all right. I think he should just get the win here, but it will be a close affair. Um, Especially if Khan Offley's improved even more since his last win. Because I remember his the fight before that he looked very poor, but and then to come out and get that win over Ricardo Ramos, maybe he's even improved on then. He was able to improve that much for one fight. Maybe he's improved even more for the next fight. I don't know, but just speculation. But close fight. I do fancy Yisa for it though. Okay, so that is the third round draw complete. Let's just quickly remind ourselves who got drawn with who. So Boom Shakalaka with Junior Tuffer, Cool Hand Puke with Cam Roston, Dr. Maxis 2 with Cody Brundage, El Guapo with his opponent, with the opponent of Cool Hand Puke, Cam Roston. So that's our head to head. El Guapo with Kaichiro Nakamura and KK Kombu with Yiza. Okay, so looking at this, I'm thinking straight away we've got two that are definitely out, in my opinion. I think Junior Taffer and Cody Brundage will both definitely lose. Cam Roston, I think, is almost certainly going to win. And Keiichiro Nakamura and Yiza, both 50-50 ones, but in theory should go through. So we've got yeah, sort of an interesting mix there. One certain, two 50-50s, two certain losses. So and of course the interesting thing is the Cam Roast and Cody Brundage fight, as that's going to serve as our unofficial Lucky Bastard Game main event. Um that sees Cool Hand Puke facing off against Dr. Maxis 2. Um So yeah, as I was saying, just quickly go over the permutations again for the of what can happen at this stage with this few people left in it. Obviously, two or more go through, then we'll have a fourth round. If only one wins, well, then they'll be crowned the winner. We'll start a new game next week, and if none of you win, then the wheel wins, which it seems determined to do, given how quickly it's been eliminating people so far. But again, we don't want that to happen. So please, just hopefully at least one of you gets through. But I think there's going to, on average, should be at least two of you get through. One of the 50-50 ones you'd think is going to win. Um, Probably is the most out of them, I'd say. But anyway, we'll see how it plays out down under tomorrow night. And uh, all that leaves me to say is good luck for the next rounds. Good luck with your picks on Tapology. If you have any real money on this, then good luck with those. But until next time, so long for now.